even in this initial report, there is so much of ambiguity and it is going around in circles. The first thing they talk about is aircraft had engine failure on takeoff and the RAT deployed. RAT is a device which gives you hydraulic power emergency. And in that situation, right after that, they're talking about fuel fuel switch going from run to cutoff. My point is very simple. When you don't have the engines in the first place, when the engines are failed, जब fuel नहीं जा रहा engine को, so why does the point come up of fuel cutoff? That's my first point. Now, what they're trying to do is put the blame deliberately on the pilots and exonerate the OEM, and that is not correct. Because if the engine failed, fuel cutoff की logic नहीं आती. Fuel cutoff logic comes only when the procedure, the memory item and procedure and QRH for starting the engine is you have to put the switch back into cutoff and bring it back on. Now, that is something which has happened, but that has happened when the engines have already failed. So it doesn't make sense. And second, which is very shocking, is why did the report come out at 2 a.m. in the morning when the aircraft is Indian, 200 passengers who have perished in the crash are Indian, 54 are British nationals. It is close of business for the UK. But you're releasing it at 2 a.m. for the American audience. That does not make sense at all. And in an initial report where you have 9 more months of full investigation, why in the report last night you are saying Boeing and GE is no longer to be involved in this anymore? You have 9 more months of investigation. So I'd like to call and urge the Ministry of Civil Aviation to please bring in transparency, bring in clarity, and bring in justification. Mr. Modi is a very firm person as Prime Minister. He has repeatedly talked about transparency in government. He's talked about ethics in ministry. That we need to see. And if required, Modi ji must intervene in this and must raise this with the Ministry of Civil Aviation because the people demand to know. 265 families have lost a loved one. And this is probably the worst air disaster in 40 years.